It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for my feet fucking hurt today.
All right, well, that's happy.
So I literally just got off a work shift. 20,000 steps in, brother.
Atta boy.
Good
There you
Lord,
go.
brother.
So yeah, my feet are killing me. But
Yeah, I imagine so.
But hey, you got the job done, man, and that's all that matters, right?
That's it.
Yep.
You did your thing today.
yes, I'm sitting in a comfy chair, ready to enjoy. I'd say a relaxing hour, but I don't know with a topic of discussion.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's an odd topic, unexpected topic.
It's going to be very interesting from my end. It's going to be very interesting from my end because I've got no dog in this fight yet.
Right.
It involves both of these two's teams, so I get to see the perspective of both of them on this trade. The trade being George Pickens is now a Dallas Cowboy by way of a 3rd, a 5th, and a 7th round pick.
Yeah, it's again. I am no football expert. I just like who I like and what I like, and even this one, I was like, "Huh, that seems oddly lopsided." But Pittsburgh's betting on their future. Or betting on the Cowboys' future, I suppose. So it's a curious trade, but I am as previously always stated, never a full-on expert on the nature of the game or the business of the game. So I am more than happy to hear from the Steelers fan side of things, as well as anybody that comes in the chat room and offers perspective, because God knows I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
It's news I woke up to this morning.
Okay.
So there were rumblings happening about it. If you follow Jarrett Bailey over on Twitter at J Bailey NFL, he talks a lot about the NFL. He's obviously a Steelers fan, but he's very knowledgeable of the NFL in general. He's a very knowledgeable person. So go follow him if you haven't. My old unsportsmanlike co-host.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where he kind of saw the Pickens trade coming. Like there were rumblings of it in the beginning part of the offseason before the draft. And Maddie was bringing this up before the show. It's odd that this happened after the draft is already over and not maybe the Dallas Cowboys didn't want to give up draft capital for this year's draft. I don't, or maybe the Steelers weren't offering something enough. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really a question for the Steelers front office. I'm still more upset that they didn't work on their offensive line, but that's just me.
Well, no. As a fan, you should be upset because the Steelers' defense has proven to be in a class all by itself. They just don't have an offensive line that can spank their own ass with both hands. So they need that, and they didn't take care of it. Apparently,
I feel like this draft was a response to the wild card game against the Ravens, which, for the record, I just straight up didn't watch.
Right.
Because I knew what was going to happen. Like I've been a Steelers fan long enough. I've seen this Tomlin team long enough. It's like and they were on a 5-game losing streak, so I had zero expectations. I was more concerned with my college team doing well in the playoffs than the Steelers. I had zero expectations for Pittsburgh.
And hey, as well as Notre Dame did, you should have been. So,
I mean, both of our teams were kind of in the whipping post spot this last playoffs. Denver shouldn't have been there. Pittsburgh shouldn't have been there. We both got our asses beat by teams that were just better than us. And I can't even say that Denver got their ass beat. How did we keep up with Buffalo for at least a quarter?
Again, I'm the wrong person to talk about postseason success. Going to be 30 seasons next year. So, is what it is.
We just need a Chicago Bears fan because every year at this time of year during the offseason, they'll be talking so much shit.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Cowboys fans for the most part, always talk the shit. They're America's team, and I'm a fan, blue and silver till I die. But the majority of us full of shit. It's like, wow.
Well, I mean, you could also be the delusional Browns fan, which, sorry, Josh, if you're in the chat, but listen, I mean, they're going to hold over. Oh, we have more championships than the Steelers. So it's like, congratulations, you haven't won anything in 60 years. But
yeah,
it's
you won all your titles at a point in history where the competitive nature of the game was horseshit. But okay, you do you, boo.
The thing I want to ask the both of you, because it does affect both of your teams.
Right.
Jeff, you getting a wide receiver that is very well known for being a deep threat, do you think that Dallas truly needed another deep threat at wide receiver? Does this help Dak Prescott in any way, shape, or form?
I think any help we can give Dak Prescott is vital, crucial, and immediate in need. Look, Greg posted it on Twix about it during the last season about how, we get this guy, we basically give him the keys to the kingdom, and then he's seen on the sidelines, you can see him mouthing the words, "We fucking suck." So, we as Cowboys fans need His Holiness Jerry Jones to get his shit together and put a team behind Dak actually wins fucking games. And Dak needs to stay healthy. That's the other thing. My two, big franchise fandoms outside of hockey, our marquee player can't stay healthy. Mike Trout got hurt on May 2nd. He was ahead of schedule this year. So good on him for it, I guess. Wanted to duck out early because things are going to suck a dick this year. And then Dak during football. It's frustrating as hell. So if he can, I say this thing about the Angels every year. If Trout can stay healthy and the pitching can stay solid, they're unstoppable. If Dak can stay healthy and there can be a team around him that can produce, Cowboys are playing in February every time. But they can't seem to get everything lined up at once. The stars refuse to align. My other, my primary team, the Kings in hockey, they made a big move this week to get the GM out of his chair because Rob Blake set himself a goal and instead we lost in the first round again. So he's like, all right, well, I didn't produce, deuces. And he held himself accountable. Jerry Jones used to do the same thing. Artie needs to do the same thing for the Angels. But, again, as far as the Cowboys go, to answer your question you asked me what time it was, I'm telling you how to make the watch. Dak needs everything he can get behind him and in front of him to get more points on the board and be more successful, more productive. So, did we need a wide receiver specifically? Maybe not, but I think anything that boosts the talent level and the productivity level of the Cowboys is a good deal.
And for you, Greg, 3 draft picks. That's pretty good. What are the odds you're taking an offensive lineman in the 3rd round?
What are the odds we're taking an offensive lineman at all in the draft if it's anything like this one?
Hey, you got 3 extra picks. You better take a fucking offensive lineman.
Again, I don't run the front office. If it was up to me, I would have taken a lineman in the first 2 picks that we had.
Yes.
But that wasn't up to me. It's like you lost key pieces of your offensive line, if you want to call Dan Moore Jr. a key piece. Like it's one of those things where you need to protect your quarterback. If you can't protect your quarterback when making the plays, none of your offensive matters. Like you could have the best wide receiving core and the best running back you could find. If you've got nobody to protect them, who gives a shit?
Yep. You might play football at that point.
Know who your quarterback is this year.
No, we don't know who our quarterback is this year because Aaron Rodgers is deciding, like you said, to edge everybody like all month long. It's like take your like Hayabusa or Ayahuasca or whatever the hell it's called, and make a decision for crying out loud.
Well, here's my thing with that though, Greg. Why is Pittsburgh allowing him to, dangle them out there like that? If he can't make a decision, then how are we at? If he can't make a decision, fuck him. Like, sit your ass down, Grandpa.
That's kind of what I think about it. But Tomlin's got this hard on for Aaron Rodgers, and I don't understand it.
I don't either. It makes no sense.
Is it because Rodgers beat Tomlin in the Super Bowl? Yeah, fantastic. But guess
Probably.
what? It was also 15 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
a lot has changed. And that was Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl win. His only one.
Yeah. Yeah. He is not at all lived up to the potential that was heaped upon him. And again, I say heaped upon him. He was a great quarterback. He could still be a decent quarterback, but he's not going to be the guy that solves the problem and takes you guys back to the dance. He's not.
No.
He's not that guy anymore. He's not Aaron Rodgers anymore.
And listen, if he somewhere along the line signs with the Steelers and actually takes them on a playoff run, I'll shut up.
Yeah, no, for real.
I will eat my words and, eat shit and smile. It's kind of like, but again, I don't, from where I'm sitting. Yeah, from where I'm sitting right now in May of 2025, I don't see how Aaron Rodgers takes our team any further than we've already been.
No, exactly.
And you got one season to do it. Because if you do get him, there's no guarantee that you got another season after it. There's no guarantee you got him for a full season.
There's no guarantee we have him at all. Like we have no information about it. And training camp's going to be starting soon, right? Like you gotta get some reps in. You can't just. It's not like a money in the bank quarterback contract that you can just be like October, show up and take the starting job. That's not how it works.
No, he was in Egypt this time last year.
Dude, at this point, I take Kaepernick.
Wow,
somebody. I don't care.
Too.
Honestly, as far as him playing a full season after signing, ask the Jets how well that went.
All 4 plays he played this
first
season.
4 plays, 3 of them he actually completed. Yeah, no, it's just I personally think, and this isn't just in football, this is in sports, this is in life, this is in all forms of sports, entertainment, whatever. People hang on too tightly to the nostalgia of stardom and people. It's like, man, Aaron Rodgers could have been one of the greats. Tom Brady, for all this shit we heap on him on this channel, on this show, and in the general sports world, Tom Brady is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And he proved that. And, he's got stake now in the Raiders. I don't think they're ever going to do dick again. But, I've been wrong before, and I'm not a football expert. But as far as facilities go, top notch, second to none. Good on him and the Raiders for doing that. I am a fan of a football team that has not won a Super Bowl in this century. So, I have zero room to talk about any sort of accountability on that. But I also observe. And from what I observe, Aaron Rodgers is not that guy anymore. Even being a Cowboys fan, I still have respect for the Pittsburgh Steelers because of the gentleman to my left on screen. And I recognize that, their draft and their decision-making is a shit show. And they need to not be if they want to get back to increasing that tally count over the Cowboys and start catching freaking New England. So, it's, again, not hard to book, it's hard to finance. And right now, they're trying to wait to finance somebody that isn't worth the financial responsibility they'll be heaping upon him or upon the team.
Yeah, and again, it's getting to a point where he's not, like, the decision's going to be made for him.
Yes, and it should.
Yeah,
it should.
It's exhausting. Like, I've kind of tuned out of the Aaron Rodgers drama surrounding Pittsburgh because there was a lot of speculation. There was a lot of speculation he was going to show up at the Pat McAfee show. McAfee quickly that night shut it down. He was like, he's not here. I was like, okay.
Yeah. He wasn't trying to, clickbait or, garner surprise ratings. He was like, nope, not happening. And good on Pat for that, by the way. Because Pat could have easily leaned into that shit, and he's like, nah, just don't need to piss off my fans. They're already crazy enough being my fans.
Yeah,
he could have He could have tried to sell it so hard and then just have Ty come out dressed as Aaron Rodgers.
But you know what though? Being in WWE, I think he's seen firsthand what advertising somebody or dancing around a teaser or a spoiler does when it doesn't produce. Bad for business.
Yeah,
so,
and Pat McAfee is too smart of a guy, especially in the city of Pittsburgh, knowing the passion of Pittsburgh Steelers fans. He doesn't want to fuck around with Steelers fans' emotions like that.
No, exactly. He's a Berg guy. He's from the Berg, so he gets it. By the way, really quick, I loved his episode of Stephanie's Places. I thought that was a damn good conversation the two of them had. It was pretty cool to learn more about Pat than I knew. And the same thing happened on the Bloodline episode. So, again, people are going to have their opinions on people with last name McMahon, but I'm enjoying Stephanie's show. And I loved her episode with Pat this week.
Well, I think we have, very different thoughts of people with the last name McMahon. The elder McMahons are pretty much lost at this point.
Problem.
The younger McMahons, however, I think we have more of a respect for. And it should be interesting, too, because I know Shane's sons are both collegiate athletes. You have to wonder if perhaps one day they make the leap and join WWE at some point.
If Declan ends up joining the WWE, Vince is going to get his wish because he looks just like Vince, and Vince is going to be wrestling, essentially. And Vince always wanted to be a wrestler, for real.
He does look like Vince, too.
He does. That picture of him with Shane, I think, was in his football uniform. It was like, whoa, like some Star Wars cloning shit going on there. Like, holy crap! But
Shane definitely got his looks from his mother.
Well, and again, I don't necessarily think the old man was a bad-looking dude back in the day. It's just when your soul becomes pure evil, it tends to drain you. Look at Voldemort, good-looking kid. Split his soul. Look what happened to him in the end of the movies. Just turned into a horrible looking dude. Splitting your soul is a dangerous thing for your looks.
So speaking of wrestling, this weekend is my 10-year anniversary, and of course WWE had to book John Cena versus Randy Orton in a roles reversed match in St. Louis on my anniversary date.
Is that not the damnedest thing?
I've got some words for Hunter because, if he would have done it next week, motherfucker.
As somebody who has been live for multiple John Cena versus Randy Orton WWE Championship matches,
right?
If you've seen one, you've seen 100 of them.
Well, no, but you know what? Though this one's different.
That's not true because one of them I saw was the Iron Man.
That was
that match was incredible.
And their I Quit match was just barbaric. I watched that back not so long ago. My God, was that just another level?
They also had a really good tables match, if I'm not mistaken, where Orton countered the Attitude Adjustment into an RKO.
That was good too. Yeah, and that's the thing. Yes, they've had many matches, and to a certain extent, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. But a lot of them are really, really well done. They told different stories. I think the one Saturday will tell a very different story because, as you said, it's a role reversal. John Cena is going in as the clear, definitive person that the fans are not supposed to cheer for. Whether they do or not, it's up to St. Louis. But they got their hometown guy against them. And it's, in any other year, I think it would have been still a mixed bag. But Randy Orton has been embraced by the fans, significantly so since his return. They're singing along with his song, which I never did before he returned.
Dude. And the St. Louis crowd is different for Orton. I've been in the building for the Royal Rumble for Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And after the Rumble, Matt Riddle got him back into the ring. They played his music for the entirety of us leaving the building.
Nice.
They gave Randy Orton his flowers in front of the St. Louis crowd. And who knows? This could be Orton's last time wrestling for a world title in St. Louis.
I was going to say, it's very likely both of their last world championship matches in the city of St. Louis. So I think John will still get a little love despite the role, but I think they're going to get the crowd. The crowd's going to be into it. St. Louis is always a passionate city. They're one of the original great wrestling cities. You know, you talk about the NWA running there back then, Muchnick and wrestling at the Chase. And, you know, it's going to be a passionate crowd. They're going to have to be because there's only 5 matches booked. I'm doing predictions with Aaron tomorrow night for that. So I'm definitely curious if they add any more stuff last minute. I'm also okay with a 5-match card and them getting out early because I'm going to be at the Whiskey A Go-Go on Saturday at a friend's show. So I'd rather get off the air early if I'm going to be on, or have them go off early so I can enjoy the whole show. But it's going to be a good weekend. I was going to throw Greg a plug to put up there, but it's starting this weekend is one of my boys over at the Super Rival Studios. They've got something going on every weekend, and New Japan and WWE run this weekend. We're doing Greg. I know you like the karaoke, but I know we also run late for you. Muppets karaoke next Saturday. Music of the Muppets. And the reason it's not this weekend, backlash and everything going on, but it was supposed to be this weekend because I forget the anniversary. It's either the anniversary of Jim Henson's passing or Kermit's debut on Sam and Friends. I forget, but one of those ties into why we're doing it then. And then, the following weekend is give me a second. Under Siege for TNA, Saturday night's main event, the Battleground for NXT WWE, and Double or Nothing. So they're going to have 4 watch-alongs in 3 nights, like WrestleMania season. So I always love the post-WrestleMania wrestling part of it. Of course, spring cleaning being what it being. I don't like that part of the year. And we had that happen this last week. Since we've been on the air on the Greg Show, actually, that's happened. So, but this weekend starts a cool another month of content.
Greg,
What's up?
I don't think we've talked about the releases yet, have we?
We have not.
No, I was about to get into that.
You're welcome.
So those ones were rough, and I don't understand the Dakota Kai release. I straight up don't.
No, I don't either.
There's a couple that I can't understand. Jakara Jackson, like when they split up the metaphor, I was sitting there going, okay, I'm thinking Lash Legend's going to go to the main roster here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And she's still high.
And I was really worried about Jakara because she was just getting her feet under her as a tag team wrestler with Lash Legend.
Yeah.
So when they broke them up, I was like, oh, I'm worried about this. Well, my worry turned into something even worse than what I thought because they released both Jakara and Oro Mensah from the NXT contracts.
Yeah.
That blows my mind as well.
For me, Maddie, I was at Rebellion for TNA, which, they have the partnership with NXT and WWE now. Both Gigi and Jakara were on that card. And it's like, okay, well, we got the use out of them. Okay, bye. Like, wait. And again, they could always sign with TNA, but what would be the point? They're already, it's, if TNA wants to pick them up, then great. They have to wait a month, and then, they get 2 quality wrestlers back. Jakara, like you said, just getting her feet under her, but Gigi has been a consistent, solid producer of content and reaction. And for them to just let her go, most of the women releases, I kind of go, The only one I'm not surprised at, and it sucks because I know a lot of people in our circle are fans of hers, is Shayna. Shayna's been on the cutting block ever since Ronda left. And freaking Ronda even put her over. It should have given Shayna the world, and they haven't done dick with her since.
Yeah.
It's awful. Her and Daria, Sonya Deville, both got just. And again, I don't know how much Sonya Deville, Daria Bernardo was really committed at this point. Not saying she didn't have a passion for it, but that whole thing with the injury combined with that whole creepo after her, I think that soured her on a public life. I really do. She's doing the podcast now with her partner. And I think that's a cool outlet for her where she doesn't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
which, I'm all for that. That's why I like doing the shows I do. I don't have to go anywhere. But yeah, Dakota, I think, is the one that really astounds me because other than her being injury prone and a possible permanent liability because of that, man, they've completely gutted what was damage control at this point. She's gone. Kyrie, I think, is still, healing up. Asuka's, same thing. Bailey got written off of WrestleMania, and unless they do a massive payoff of that Saturday, what was the point of that? And now Dakota's gone.
Yeah. I feel like they're probably setting up Bailey versus Becky for SummerSlam.
I think so too. We talked about that on the review yesterday. I can't see any other reason for Bailey just completely being written off of television for that, unless they're going to do some payoff for her, because man, that just completely derails anything they were trying to get back with Bailey, because she has that whole lot of momentum since she lost the title.
The storyline there, it kind of has to be that Becky attacked her at Mania. Like, that kind of has to be the story there.
Well, no, Becky already admitted to it as much. So,
okay.
That's
got to be the main carrying point for a short feud between those two.
Yeah, and I mean, having Lyra be the go-between, it only for me works if Becky wins the Intercontinental title. I got shut down yesterday on this because, Becky having a secondary belt that's just, the belt marks. It's like, well, I'm a belt mark, so I want it. Becky winning it adds prestige to it. If she holds it from now in May until SummerSlam in August, that's a good solid run for the second ever champion. And then if Bailey wins it and carries it into, New Orleans next year, or even, shortly before that, that's a hell of a run. That gives her the Grand Slam. That gives her closer to the Grand Slam. All she has to do is win the US title at that point. But I personally think that the secondary title gives new life and different stakes to Becky versus Bailey. Give stakes to Becky versus Lyra, other than just, idol versus worshiper. I personally think the title helps the direction of the story, and I'm here for it. But with the releases, so many more women got cut than I expected, and man, you talk about, giving somebody an opportunity and just cutting them off at the knees more than once. Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
They put her with Trish, which was always going to be a short-term thing because Trish is never going to stick around full-time anymore. Right. Then they put her with Sonya and Shayna. Now they're both gone. Just, are we setting Zoe Stark up for success at this point? Sure, she might seem like that to me.
And the thing is, Zoe's obviously talented, and it's something that I feel like Zoe needs some kind of change in personality or something, some kind of gimmick to really connect with the crowd, because I think that's missing.
No, I agree.
There's obviously the talent there, but something is missing with Zoe. I don't know what it is, but if she can find that and hone in on it, she could be set.
I think Zoe's better as a heater than the one that needs the heater. That makes sense? Like she's not Shawn Michaels, she's early Diesel. She's not going to be the attraction of whatever presentation she's in. She's going to be a hell of a heavy, but she's not going to be the main event. And that's not a knock on her. I just don't. Well, I mean, I guess it sounds like it is. So I guess I'm being a dick and not trying to absolve myself of responsibility, but whatever. Fuck me for it. Okay.
Just have roles. Some people just have roles that they fit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not everybody's going to be the champion. Not everybody's going to be the main event. If you get a faction where the goal is to set them up for success, evolution, then great, you've got that. But not every group, not every team, not every faction is that. For as great as the Horsemen were, Arn Anderson was never going to be the world champion. And he acknowledged that was his role. The TV title became his world title. I think Tully could have been, but not in the company he was in. Tully was never going to be Ric Flair.
Yeah.
He wasn't. Tully's one of the greatest heels of all time, but he wasn't the Nate. Evolution, they got lucky, man. Both Randy and Dave just fucking skyrocketed.
But Ric Flair wasn't going to take the title off of Triple H.
No, exactly. Flair knew his role was going to be the guy that had the experience, had the ties to the previous generation. And, as long as Hunter had him reined in, he was doing okay. We saw what happened once he got away from Hunter. But it's very much like what they're looking like they're setting up with Rollins now. Rollins is the current star who's still got the steam left. Heyman's the wise man. Want wink wink haha. But then you've got Braun, who's this moldable clay, who's going to be the badass enforcer. If they add somebody else, as much as it's going to be a dangerous alliance because of Paul, you have an evolution potential here. Put Austin Theory with those guys. For the love of God, give Theory something else to do besides have the Vince stink on him, even now.
Yeah.
Like, put him with Paul.
Haven't they been teasing like Theory and Waller splitting for like a year?
It's what it feels like, yes. Yes, and I like Grayson. I like Grayson a lot, as a matter of fact. But I don't see him as, and again, everybody's going to say this, and Greg, you're a fan, so, not with teams, more often than not, there's a Michaels and a Jannetty. And I'm not saying that Grayson Waller is going to have the Jannetty downward spiral, but I don't think he is the Shawn Michaels of those two. I very much think Austin Theory is.
I don't even know if the Rockers is the comparison I want to go to. Like, I know that's everybody's go-to when a tag team breaks up, but like Jimmy Uso isn't Jannetty.
No, but you know what though? My point of view on that is this, and I said this before WrestleMania, and I stand by it. I don't see Jey Uso as the WWE champion, but I'm okay with him as the world champion. I don't even see Jimmy Uso as a world heavyweight champion. I don't see that. Like, it doesn't connect to me. He's a great secondary Intercontinental U.S. champion. I can't make myself see Jimmy Uso with the world title. And I don't know. I'm going to catch major shit the next time I get together with those guys, and whatever. Fuck it. That's how I see it. And I'm sorry, Rikishi, this clip gets back to you, and I'll deal with it. I just don't see that for Jimmy. And I don't know if that's so much a knock on Jimmy like it sounds, or if it's the way creatives built him compared to the way they've built Jay.
I feel like Jay, especially after Jimmy turned heel, went back to the bloodline, Jay's popularity went up. I think that press conference with Cody started a lot of it. I think.
I agree.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, again, Jimmy won't be like a Jannetty, although Jannetty did win the Intercontinental title. So like,
but also,
they also teamed with friggin' Al Snow. So
he teamed with Al Snow, but he also teamed with Waltman and got a tag title. He also teamed with Bob Holly and got another tag title. No, I'm sorry, that was Sean. I'm sorry, I apologize. Too much confusion. I don't think Jimmy's reputation, especially in his, they haven't been they've been rehabbed off the DUI list. So I don't think Jimmy's rep is going to suffer anywhere near the Marty Jannetty's has and still does now. Maybe it's more like so that's the thing. Like, I don't know that a whole lot of tag teams that have split up and both of them went on to amazing success. Yeah. I think that's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. The Road Warriors, neither one of them did anything substantially on the single side of things. But they're still one of the greatest tag teams of all time. The Dudleys. Bully Ray was a credible, believable bastard of a TNA world champion. Don't see that for Devon. Never did see that for Devon.
The Steiners.
Again, Scotty Scotty was a world champion. Scotty's also a psychopath. Rick, great U.S. champion in that role with the stable with Scotty toward the end. And again, WCW 2001 was what it was. But, when you had the Steiners and Luger and Bagwell and Animal and Flair, and I forget who the seventh one was. I'm going to kick myself later. But Rick Steiner was a good, solid supporting role for his brother.
Harlem Heat also in that same.
Yes. And even when Stevie Ray joined the NWO, it's like, okay, he might be a good TV champion. I didn't even see Stevie as the U.S. champion. I didn't think that would ever. It didn't, but I didn't think it ever would happen for him. Booker winning the TV title. Okay, I got that. Him winning the U.S. title surprised me, and him being the world champion again. Circumstances were a sumbitch the first time.
Yeah,
but he proved himself to be a world championship star, without a doubt.
Well, I mean, just the way that they always broke up the Hardys was weird. They only ever had one where it was like a full-on feud, right? Because they've had a couple where it was a match or two, and then they got back together as a team, but very rarely did they have a feud.
I feel like the Hardys is the exception to the rule because both of them did go on to champions. Both of them went on to be world champion. Like both of them were world champions in TNA. Obviously, Jeff was WWE and world champion.
Matt has an ECW world title.
Yeah,
Matt was ECW champion.
Yeah. Matt never won the TNA world title, but they were world champions in WWE at the same time.
Matt won the TNA world title. He was TNA world champion twice.
Did he really?
Yes.
Yeah. That's Broken Matt Hardy. Well, did he win one before Broken?
He beat somebody at Bound for Glory. I know he beat EC3 the second time because that's when freaking Pirates turned.
Yep, that's right.
I was so tuned out from TNA. Matt, I'm sorry for that. I apologize, dude. You gave me such love on that group picture, and I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. I didn't remember that.
Yeah, Matt was two-time TNA champion. Because the first time he won the TNA title and for some reason had to vacate it or something. I don't remember the circumstances surrounding that.
I think it was a storyline that Dixie was running with Ethan, which is how Ethan got the title, and then he met him again, I think.
And then they did like a double turn with him and EC3.
God.
That was weird.
I need to re-up on my TNA Plus and go back because I believe it happened, but I sure as shit don't remember it. Wow. You know what though? But yeah, you're right. They are the exception to the rule. Both of them had significant multiple times single success, and
Dwayne other way around. Drew beat Matt for the title because he cashed in his. I don't think it was Feast or Fired. There's so much from like the 2010s Impact that.
Yeah. This is going to sound really bad, but in the immediate aftermath of Hogan becoming a babyface again and then him leaving the company, I completely tuned out 100%.
Remember Global Force Wrestling, kids?
Yes, I do. And I know that the TNA championship history like bleeds into that, or that bleeds into the TNA, like they unified it. So technically Alberto Patron's a former champion, which, he's in the news this week too.
You fire a whole bunch of women to hire Alberto Del Rio.
That's a great look. That's a hell of a look. If they actually did hire him. Wow.
I will say there is one person on that list of WWE signings that is massive. Vikingo is on that list.
Well, yes. He was at WrestleMania for crying out loud. So
the fact that it's all confirmed and everything, dude, that's massive.
No, it is, considering how much of a presence he had been just in the last 12 months on the other side. And now he's full back, and he's back with AAA, and he's a WWE guy. It's like, and he's sitting there at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, WrestleMania was for me the indicator that things really have changed. You had the TNA World Champion in a major segment, and Vikingo, who was been one of AAA's biggest stars in a major segment, like because the match with El Grande Americano and Ray Phoenix was a big deal. If you're a fan, you look at the big picture. So, man, as much as people want to continue to try to poke holes in the various successes of WWE, the bottom line is it's the business of the wrestling business, and they are cooking with gas, folks. They just are.
I'm going to say something too for my lack of knowledge of the TNA product at this time.
Yeah.
I don't have to defend my wrestling trivia title anymore, so I don't have to know that shit.
No, exactly. No, that's a valid fucking point. I will say this about their business. They're doing so well that they are charging over $250 for the cheapest seat at Money in the Bank at the Intuit Dome. And that pricing, plus the pricing of over $50 for the AAA show at the Forum, I found out my friend's Paradise Kitty booked a show the same day, not too far away, and I can pay under what I'd pay for a show at the Forum and do everything, transit, food, and the show. So thank you for letting me decide to go support my friends, WWE, because as great as your business is doing, and I don't discourage that. Bravo on you guys for making that money, but you made my choice a hell of a lot easier on June 7th.
Yeah, it's... I'm glad I was able to go to SummerSlam last year before all the price hikes and stuff.
Because I don't think... I think you'd have to sell that beautifully renovated house just to go.
Yeah, and like if I sold the house to buy wrestling tickets, I'd probably have to, file some divorce papers or sign some divorce papers rather, because Jen would not be happy about that.
Yeah, and then if you went to that show and you had to, do the breakup, you'd probably be stuck in Minnesota, which is colder than where you live. So that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, hey, you could always go to Arkansas where it's cheaper.
Oh my God.
Yeah, let's not play this scenario out. How about that?
How about we just not put that bad juju on Greg and just he's not going to SummerSlam, so it doesn't matter.
Do you want to look up weird state laws in Arkansas?
Yes.
We could
bring the segment back.
I mean, we could tell you what, when we have whenever it is, because we haven't scheduled anything, whenever we have Maven back, we need to do weird state laws.
Oh God. He will pop for that shit so hard.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not sure if we should do where he lives now in New Jersey, or if we should do where he grew up in Virginia. Yeah, I'm not sure which one we should do, but
both of them will be epic. I have no doubt.
Yeah, why not both? Because New Jersey, I remember, has some wild.
He's got some shit. Yeah, and they're a shit show anyway. God bless them. I mean, Maven lives there. Good on him. But my God, what a shit show of a state. I will say, Greg, if you're talking about going to a pay-per-view or a PLE, Survivor Series is at Petco Park. That's a one-nighter in San Diego. So
that is a massive venue as well.
It is, and I've not been to a Padres game since they moved from Jack Murphy Stadium. So I'm looking forward to going. And Pierce is looking forward to going because he auditioned to be the Padres PA guy before he got his WWE life. So he and I are both like, dude, what a weird world. I was a Padres fan before they became a poverty franchise and before their fans became complete fucking assholes. And he used to live there. So it's weird, both of us in different walks of our life going to a WWE show at the home of the San Diego Padres. It's a weird time.
Since you brought up baseball, what the fuck is happening with the Pirates?
I don't know.
No. Like, I'm not even talking about the team. There have been a couple social media videos that have gone viral.
Oh, I know.
One of them, a fan fell off, like, over the Clemente wall, fell 21 feet down to the ground.
Yeah.
Were they okay?
Yeah. I mean, okay is a relative term. They were injured severely, obviously.
I mean, yeah, falling that far, it's rough.
Yeah. But another video which just surfaced this week was somebody working for the Pirates organization got spit at by a fan and decided to whip this fan with his belt.
I saw that. That shit was hilarious.
Oh yeah, and it's like I know that guy probably got fired or like reprimanded or something, but that fan absolutely had it coming. What a fucking asshole that guy was.
Yeah, and we always talk about the Pirates aren't exactly the glowing example of a great franchise in the bird with compared to the other sports teams, but man, just now the fans and the employees of the team are even getting into the shit show shenanigans.
And it's not moving Bob Nutting a single inch.
Not a bit.
He's probably like, did the Pirates make money? Okay, we won't spend any of it on the team, but as long as it made money.
Yeah,
You're meaning to tell me this is getting us more revenue? No, hire that kid back. Hire him back right now.
Exactly. Jesus.
I do have Arkansas weird state laws if you are interested, Greg.
I mean, since you brought it up, like we can do some Arkansas weird state laws. So like, let's go by way of Idaho or what?
All right, well let's do it for the Clintons. Let's see how it goes.
All right. When playing a pinball machine,
yes,
you may not win more than 25 free games as a reward.
Okay, so you just play until you hit 25, and then you have to leave the arcade or you get jailed, huh?
Gentlemen, I thought this one was
money at that company.
I thought this one was just common sense. Weird law number 2: no smoking in cars with small children.
Well, that's just basic decency.
Yeah, that was not weird.
Well, I mean, if it's weird, then it's probably a problem.
Guys,
okay,
no, the weird part about it, there's a weight limit.
Okay.
In Arkansas, it is illegal to smoke in a car with a child weighing less than 60 pounds, but it's perfectly fine if the kid is 65 or above.
All right. So let's just get the kid good and fat on junk food, and then we can smoke ourselves to death. Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So apparently, at my place of employment, somebody was out in the parking lot thinking it was 420 somewhere with a dog in the car.
Oh, that's fucked up.
That's what I thought too. It's like
I'm a pothead, and that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's really fucked up.
It's like don't treat your animals like they're completely irrelevant. Like I could never do anything like that to my dog because I have the best dog in the world. So it's
that's crazy,
right, gentlemen.
That's awful. Ugh.
Men and women may not flirt with each other on the streets of Little Rock.
Are they trying to turn the state blue, or what are we doing? What are we doing?
Once again, the ever-present question comes up: who the fuck is out here just arresting people or giving citations to someone going, "Hey, good looking"?
Yeah,
fine.
It's like oh, okay. Who?
We can't have any of that language. Now, is it actually in the street, or if it's walking on the sidewalk? That seems absurd. But like, if they're standing in the street and blocking traffic, that I can understand at least.
Yeah. And again, who flirted to the point that they were causing enough of a ruckus that legislature went, okay, wait a minute.
So one time,
maybe.
Like,
go ahead.
I was going to say one time. I remember my dad and I were in the car. We were trying to go somewhere, and we got a little lost. And we were parked behind this, or we pulled up behind this car, and there was a guy leaning in, like talking to the driver of the car. And he was there for like 3 minutes. And I was like, come on, we're trying to get somewhere. My dad honked at the car. The guy who was standing, like talking to the driver, looked up at us and then went right back to talking for another like 5-10 minutes. It's like, what's your problem?
What the fuck is that nonsense?
I don't know, but like it was the most absurd stuff ever. It's like, how inconsiderate can people be?
Right?
Well, speaking of inconsiderate, apparently alligators are not allowed to live in bathtubs.
We've had that one in another state before, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, it very well may have been Arkansas, but
it may have been. But it's like, again, okay.
Who would want that?
who would? Oh, and again, that begs the question again. How many times did it happen before the government went, okay, we gotta nip this one in the bud, folks?
Gentlemen,
how many fucking alligators are being freaking held domestically? Like, what are we doing?
if you must walk your cow down a public highway, mind you, you may not blindfold it first.
There's a lot to unpack on that one. Wait a
minute. That's as much of a baseball statistic as anything I've ever heard. Like, what is that?
So you're allowed to walk your cow down the street because clearly that's what people do in Arkansas is walk their cows down the street.
But not on the highway.
But not on the highway.
If you're blindfolding it.
If blindfolded. Yeah. Okay.
Who the fuck's blindfolding a cow to walk it? Come here, Benchy. I just gotta put the sheet over your head now.
That's it. And somehow
the cows continue. Not only can you not flirt on the streets in Little Rock, but Little Rock does not allow you to walk your cow down Main Street after 1 p.m. on a Sunday.
Well, you gotta make sure you get that cow home from church. In Arkansas, apparently. Some of the, and again, every time we do this segment, it's one of those, how old is the legislator? How recently have they reviewed it? And if it's still a current thing, what the actual shit?
Oh, I wonder how many fines, citations. Your dog is not allowed to bark after 6 p.m. in Little Rock.
Okay, so
the dog is not allowed to be a dog after 6 p.m.
Right. That seems very inconvenient.
Yeah, especially with some of the dogs. Like, God, if I was in Arkansas, I'd be having my neighbors fine left and right. Assholes. Anyway, sorry.
Those were the weird state laws from Arkansas. More confusing than anything. Why so many cow laws?
Well, there's not a whole lot to do in Arkansas, to be fair. Do they have any professional sports teams of note?
I mean,
Arkansas baseball. College baseball is always good.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Razorbacks in college football too. Like,
so no professional sports franchises. Okay, interesting. Hey, you know what though? Maybe they can be one of the hot spots for the professional presentation of real American freestyle wrestling. Maybe they can be a hotbed for that promotion.
I do have one more weird one.
Okay, go ahead, Maddie. Well, Greg's head explodes me talking about the Hogan thing. Go ahead.
It is illegal for the Arkansas River to rise above the Main Street Bridge in Little Rock.
I approve that law.
You gotta find the water? Like, what?
No, you find this. You find the DWP if it happens.
Who's going to jail for this crime?
Whoever's in charge of the water
take
and power.
A bucket of water, throw it in a cell, and be like, "Hey, you stay there until you evaporate, you son of a bitch."
It is a giant ass bucket of water and go. Now you think about what you did.
It is illegal in Arkansas to honk your horn at a sandwich shop after 9 p.m.
Again, a very baseball statistic, multiple qualifiers type thing.
Yeah, it's only on Sunday, so you can sit there until 11:59 and honk the shit out of that horn at that sandwich shop. But man, once midnight hits, you better shut that thing the fuck up. Wow.
Okay, here's some flirtation between men and women on the streets of Little Rock could result in an up to 30-day jail sentence.
Wow. Okay, so they went
Wow.
back to the law we were talking about earlier about that you can't flirt in the streets. If you do, you get 30 days. That's wild.
Yeah. So keep it in your pants if you're in Little Rock.
So, but here's the thing, though. Isn't it like rehab where if you force them to do something, and day 31, they're going to be out there trying to hump air at that point. Like they're going to be wanting something. Like, God damn! Like I need 30 days. It's been a month.
No, you become a repeat offender real quick.
This is our Barney cell. He's here a lot. I don't know why he's named Barney, but it worked for me. Yeah, I don't know what made me think of having Arkansas be one of the host cities for that damn promotion, but man, what a disappointment that turned out to be, right? Like, God, I was thinking 500 other things, but damn.
Honestly, like, what's the point?
No,
it's shoot amateur wrestling, but they're gonna put storylines behind it. Is that what I'm gathering?
From what I think Bischoff said, they're gonna tell the backstories of these guys. Is what it looks like it's going to be to have us, garner sympathy for their stories. Like, like when you watch American Idol or you watch, one of the other reality type competition shows, you get the backstory, you get the feels for the people. And then if they win, it's like, oh, that's my guy. It's like, the problem is it's backed by a guy who has made one PR blunder after another in the last 18 to 24 months. And he's just trying to put a Band-Aid over a wound that he left gaping open after the election. It's like, dude, you gotta just not be in public for a while is what you gotta do, Terry. Like, just let people stop jumping up your ass.
Can we extend that? Because Hogan's been on the bad side of PR for a decade, like at least. No. Like let's call a spade here.
Well, okay, valid,
which he wouldn't like, but
I think as we speak, didn't he fuck up and call and say that his good friend Benjamin Shelton?
Oh my God!
Again.
Honestly, like
this Mucker brother is trying to start a new business, and he's just going out there telling his continued lies and just making himself and the people that work with him look like complete buffoons.
Yeah, and if we're gonna believe anybody's side on that, it's gonna be Shelton Benjamin. Like,
for sure.
Yeah. Did you hear him on Nathan's show? Guy is sharp as a knife. Remembers everything like that.
Yeah. The best part about that was MVP responded to the whole situation under the no DQ posting of it. So Aaron got the rub. Oh God. You are right. You are right, Greg. It's definitely Hogan's been on a PR downward for the better part of a decade. However, since he returned to WWE, whatever it was, 2014 to host WrestleMania, other than getting that slap on the wrist and timeout again, it's been, I won't say it's been glowing public, but it's been treading water and just, riding the line. But the minute he went to the RNC and did what he did, then he came out at Raw on Netflix and tried to promote a beer that we couldn't even buy at the venue or near the venue he was at, and they got booed out of the building. He thought, okay, what can I do to make this better? I know, I'll cut a NWO-style promo teasing a third guy with me and Eric, because that's what got me great success 30 years ago. And it's going to be a freestyle wrestling promotion and a freestyle wrestler that nobody outside of that bubble has ever fucking heard of. And I'm going to go on Fox and Friends the next day with my red and yellow gear on, because that's what got me popular, but still have my Hollywood beard on. And then I'm going to cut interviews calling a person of color the wrong name 2 different times.
Yeah.
Let's just heap on the bad shit. It's just, I said it yesterday and I got reamed for it. It is continuing to be difficult to be a fan of somebody that makes that many poor choices, that it tells that many lies. So I even asked on social, it's like, is it still possible to separate from the character from the person? Because I still want to be a Hulk Hogan fan.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more like he's molding Terry and Hulk together, and it's the conglomeration of the two is just not a pretty sight.
A very toxic combination.
Yeah, and Eric even said that on a show not too long ago. It's like, I think it was after the RNC, because he went out there, even though he was trying to speak, as more as Terry. It's like, he's going out there tearing the shirt, doing the entrance, doing the shtick. It's like, I think Eric said, I think Terry feels the most comfortable he's ever felt with himself. And it's okay that he's leaned more into this is who he is. Because when Terry Bollea goes home and not able to be Hulk Hogan, he doesn't know what to do with himself. It's very much like Flair now. And at his advanced age, the age he is in the career, or the position his career is in. It's just unfortunate. And again, I didn't want to delve into it. Sorry about for steering the direction. I mentioned the thing, and it was so ridiculous. I wanted to bring that up and ended up going in a whole different direction. I apologize.
Yeah, you're good. On that note,
yeah. Sorry about that, everybody. Go enjoy Dynamite if you can.
Go enjoy Dynamite. Go enjoy. I might have a new video series coming up relatively soon. I'm going to hopefully film it tomorrow because I don't have to work tomorrow. Score.
I do.
But for the record, if I go through with this video series, just know I got the okay to do it. And that's all I'm saying about it.
All right.
So until then, I'll leave you with that teaser.
Damn it.
For Natty Logs, for Jeff Meacham, and for George Pickens on the Cowboys, I'm Greg Cherry. Enjoy your week. Don't be a jag, and we'll see you next time on the Greg Cherry Show.
Buy that Don't Be a Jag shirt. I saw that. I'm buying that shirt.